his lack of size did not limit him at the biggest school and the biggest program and the biggest conference in college football.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
DeVonta Smith won the Heisman and was an absolute baller. He was a stud last year for Alabama. What are we talking here? 117 receptions, 1,800 yards, 23 touchdowns. Well, he was one of 3 wide receivers ever to win the Heisman. Had an unbelievable season. Now, that being said, I feel like, am I going outside of myself? Am I wrong in saying that DeVonta Smith has potentially the largest range of outcomes for any wide receiver in the draft?
I think you can say that based on the fact that there's no pedigree, there's no history to look back on for a player of his size, his build, and going this high in the draft. Yeah, he is definitely that outlier to me. I love the pick though, because I compare him to Calvin Ridley. I know people get a little like about cross school or inter school comparisons, but the reason I thought that pre-draft he made so much sense as a Ridley comparison, because going back to that 2018 class, Calvin Ridley was a guy who people questioned his size, his athleticism. They questioned his, breakout age, all those type of metrics as well. But man, when you watched Calvin Ridley, when you even looked at him in reception perception, he was a guy that fit just so cleanly as a starting outside receiver that could play a little bit inside. That was just basically what I said was too good of a separator, too good of a technician to fail. Obviously, Smith is more extreme on the size, and we really don't know what his athletic testing profile would look like. So there are more questions there. But at the same time, man, you look at him in reception perception, 90th percentile success rate against man coverage, 89th percentile against press coverage. Like, his lack of size did not limit him at the biggest school and the biggest program and the biggest conference in college football. If we think back to last year, James, I think the Eagles got like they overthought it. They put their brain into a pretzel. They got too cute. They looked at Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson like, well, Jalen Reagor is going to bring that speed, big play, vertical element to our offense. We'll go with that. Instead of just like Justin Jefferson was the ready-made day one technician that even if you didn't think he was going to become the superstar that he did become, he at the very least was going to hit the field day one and be a pro-ready guy. That's who DeVonta Smith is going to be. He's going to give Jalen Hurts a guy out there on the outside that's going to separate quickly on those routes. And they need that so bad in this offense right now.
So I went back over the last 20 years, and the search terms I looked for, up to 6'1", up to 175 pounds. Now remember, this is a guy that came in like 165, okay? There's just no 165 guys out there, right? No. So we're talking up to 175. Taken in the first 3 rounds. Literally, Matt Harmon, only 3 guys fit that profile. Hollywood Brown at 5'9", 166, Deshaun Jackson, 5'10", 170, and Paul Richardson at 6 feet, 175. Here's the problem. I know, talk about an outlier. but this is the problem to me. All of those guys could burn, man.
Burners.
Hollywood Brown had 4.33 speed. D-Jax, we know, elite speed, 4.35 at the combine. Paul Richardson even actually had great speed. He ran a 4.40 40 at the combine as well. So he's got great speed. Now, we don't necessarily know what DeVonta Smith's 40 is, but it's kind of sort of estimated that he's in the high 4.4s, man, if not in the low 4.5. So he's not a burner. So if he's going to do these things, and the reason I say his range of outcomes is so significant, we're talking maybe potentially an all-pro, maybe potentially a bust, because we're talking about a guy who is so small and really just doesn't burn. I get the tactician part, but man, I tell you what, in the first round, Matt Harmon, that gives me great pause. It really does.
I think Smith can win downfield, but I don't think that he's a guy that you're going to be throwing a bunch of go routes to, that you're just going to be letting it rip in that way. But I actually don't, again, I don't think that that's the role he's going to play in the NFL. He is going to be that underneath guy. He is going to be maybe a potentially high volume slot player.
But hold up though. When you say slot receiver, And I think of the draft price this team paid to go get this man.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that.
That's tough, bro. That is tough.